What worries you most about your son having autism?
The reaction of other people as he gets older. At the moment in primary school they're fantastic, he's really cocooned, but secondary school is where I worry, to the point where I'm considering possibly homeschooling him when we get to that point.
Autism is a lifelong mental condition which affects over 700,000 people in the UK. It alters the way a person communicates and interacts with the world and the people around them. People who have autism struggle in areas such as education and employment due to lack of support and understanding.
Children can be cruel, can't they? So, and he's such a nice little person, but he doesn't really understand other people who aren't. You know, not everybody is. So that worries me about how, as he gets older, how other people will react to him. Are you going to be silly? He excels in maths, and I've actually been looking for a private tutor because he's so incredible with numbers and times tables and degrees, circles. He can tell you exactly how many. It's just crazy. But I want that to be developed. I don't care that certain things at school that he's not as good at. So I think if they're like part of the funding for Joseph maybe would be better put with somebody who can bring more of that out in him. You did then,
3 9 27, 4 9 36, 5 9 45, 45. 45!
What are your concerns for employment?
I mean, I think he'll be either an engineer or he'll probably end up teaching at university or something because it's quite phenomenal. They're like telling the time. He could do that about at 3.
Did that 90?
Yeah, so what's 45?
So do halfway. So that's 45.
How many people would you say have had to end up here because of difficulties in mainstream schools?
I'd say that it's difficult to give you a really accurate figure because I would say that most of the children that we have in school have autistic spectrum disorder or at least have some autistic traits. Many that are diagnosed are undiagnosed but still have those traits, and it's often very difficult to get a diagnosis when a child gets to 13, 14 when they have burnt their bridges in mainstream education and end up with us. I think specialists, really. I think once you have suspicions around a child's ASD behaviours, that to be able to consult with a school such as this, where we have some expertise around autism, but even better still, a school such as the Rowan in Sheffield, or the National Autistic Society, that deal with children on a far more regular basis, and perhaps with a more pronounced autistic diagnosis, to be able to use those people as consultants and have them in to look at how a mainstream school can adapt their already considerable skills to make sure that that child can stay within mainstream education.
I began to search for employers in the UK who welcomed adults with learning disabilities. Among the few I found, I came across Oak Farm in Ditton Priors, Shropshire. Prior to 1990, people were forced to travel to Telford or Shrewsbury, so there was a desperate need for the local service. Oak Farm has since been open for 27 years. I wanted to meet the man who manages such a strongly built and open-minded business.
The reason that they come here is actually to give them something valuable, worthwhile, and a reason to get out of bed in the morning. I say I'm coming to work at Oak Farm. They also say they're coming to work at Oak Farm, and that's really important because it gives them a sense of well-being. It gives them a sense of belonging as well, which is vital. Unfortunately, there's not that many jobs out there for people with learning disabilities, but if we can equip people with social skills, with employment skills, with interpersonal skills, then there's a chance that if there is a job that comes up, they can actually apply for it and get it. We have 55 people on our books who use the service, and we have generally about 30 people a day. And they come in and we have a diary meeting every morning, which we go through with the guys what the jobs are for the day, and they will say, yes, I'd like to help with that, or no, I don't want to do that. So very much about giving them a choice about what activity, what job they're involved in during the day. The rabbits and the guinea pigs are designed to help the people who are less able, so people who are not quite so physically strong can still have a turn at caring and nurturing animals, whereas the sheep and the cattle are designed to give people who are physically more able and more capable the opportunity to look after livestock. Just recently there's been Prince William and Kate and Harry being in the media about mental health. Well, I think they need, the guys I work with, people with learning disabilities, they need a champion as well to say, look, you know, these are people as well as you and me, give them the opportunity, and hopefully employers might hear that.
I enjoy working at Oak Farm and I enjoy looking after the animals.
Do you work here often?
Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Responsibilities are taking care of the animals, cleaning out their pens and feeding them and taking them back for the evening.
I'm Susie Lovett and my son John is 23 and he has autism that he was diagnosed with when he was about 2.5.
Have you faced any difficulties within the educational system?
Yes, I think it's very frustrating. I think there's very little information out there for parents. You tend to have to sort of search it all out yourself. And people have a tendency to be very negative in the beginning. I mean, we were told that John would never read, he would never be able to use a pair of scissors, he probably wouldn't talk. He can do all of those things now.
How do you think these could be avoided?
I think it's just a greater understanding of autism and why would people understand it if it doesn't impact on their life? I didn't until John was diagnosed with it, and then you start to read into it and you realise that it's a broad spectrum and people range from being very intelligent autists to autists who can't speak or do very much at all. There is a huge range.
How do you think working at Oak Farm has benefited John?
I think he's grown in confidence. I think he feels, we noticed a big difference when we had his review at Oak Farm. He seems far more confident than he used to be and much more relaxed, because I think John has always perceived reviews as a test and it's made him feel really stressed from when he was very small.
What do you believe could increase employment in people who have autism?
I think a greater understanding of the fact that many people with autism actually possess a lot of the skills that most employers would value, in that, you know, they tend to be very honest, they're very punctual, they're very reliable. Once they're shown how to do something, they will do it accurately. So there are lots of skills that they have that could benefit a lot of workplaces, but it's just very difficult for them to get in there.
Einstein was autistic, Bill Gates, you know, people like that. I hope that by the time he's at an age, then there's more understanding.
Our children don't end up in a special school for emotional, social and mental health difficulties without there being significant difficulties that have impacted on families.
Just having respect and an appreciation of people helped me sort of discover what it was like to work with people with disabilities, because it's no different to working with anybody else.
I think it would help if people are a little bit more positive about the things they can do, rather than sort of playing on all the things that they can't do.